Okay, I don't know if anyone's out there. Um, if you are, please leave a comment so that I know you're there. And I'm using my phone to, well, I'm using my phone as a camera because my camera is messed up. I still haven't replaced it as far as recording things live. And you can let me know how I sound. I had to find another cord for my mic. So I couldn't find the mic cord. I had to find one that would fit it. So, yeah, if it can go wrong, if you're going live, it will go wrong. But what I'm doing here is essentially, I'm going to do like a beef and barley kind of thing. I'm not making a whole lot of it. I put a pound of hamburger meat in here. That was mostly thawed. I wasn't going to wait any longer. And I got some other stuff to add to it. We're going to brown the hamburger meat, and then we're going to remove the meat from the pan. Once we remove the meat from the pan, then we're going to start sauteing some vegetables and stuff like that, and adding some stock, that sort of thing to it. Well, not stock really. I'm going to put like beef bouillon in there. I'm only doing like a quart of it, maybe a quart and a half. So each pint, because unfortunately there's math in cooking, each pint is going to use 1 cube. Let me grab this. You see that? Yeah. And there's 4 pints to a quart. So if I do 1 quart, it will be 4 of those cubes. If I do a quart and a half, it will be 6 of those cubes. It's kind of weird looking at a camera to see what I'm doing, but it is. It'll work. And we're going to save all those juices. So that way the sauteed vegetables, if there's not enough of like, the fats and stuff in the hamburger meat, I'll add a little olive oil or something, and we'll add some carrots, and then we'll probably add garlic after the carrots, and then onions and celery, and cook that down. Simple Dan forever. Howdy. How are you doing? Krabby Turtle, how are you doing? Ahoy. Yaksimash. Oh, it's Thanksgiving. It's a holiday. I've got the day off. Then I got to work tomorrow. So, it is what it is. The only other guy who can run the pneumatic trailer, the only other driver who can do that, got himself fired. So I have to go in, and I have to run the pneumatic trailer. Try to chop this up pretty good. But I will have to go in and run the pneumatic trailer tomorrow and unload it. But it's money. I mean, both of my boys are down for the holiday, or our boys, and I'd really want to do something with them, but I don't have a choice. Oh, you're at work. Okay. You're working on Thanksgiving. A lot of places have started doing that, or started doing away with that, or they were for a while. Apparently there was some sort of outrage over forcing people to work on the holiday. But then there's Black Friday. Need to grab something. And I do not want to shop on Black Friday. I'm not that much of a people person. And there are entirely too many people. Too many crowds. Simple Dan said he was working. Krabby Turtle not working. And appreciation for the sentiments. But I get my percentage and I get paid because it's technically a holiday. And so I'll get paid double. Maybe I can pay off. I've only got one credit card, but I put too much on it after the accident. I need to start paying that down. Bjorn, how are you doing? I can see you in the chat there. And we're going to see if this setup works for now. I've literally got my phone being held over the stove, videotaping what I'm doing. And I've got the computer set up over here, this side, so that I can see the chat. And this is going to take a while, because the barley is going to take a while. That's the only bad thing about cooking with barley, is generally it takes about an hour to cook the barley. And this is just about where I want to take it out of here. Just about. Well, there's a few people on here. Cool. I watched Paul Harrell's video earlier. That was pretty cool. He's always got his Thanksgiving Day special. That's what I need that for. And it don't have to be perfect. If you got some crumbles still in there, it's not going to hurt nothing. Turn the heat down a little bit. Try to see what I'm doing without bumping my phone and knocking it onto the stove here. Still get as much out as you can. Had turkey at the in-laws today. So that was cool. It's probably about a tablespoon of olive oil. I'm going to start off with the carrots. I don't usually measure, but that was about a half a cup of carrots. if anyone wants to know. Yeah, drippings and stuff in there. Don't worry about it. It's just flavor. And you're essentially using the carrots and everything as a spice anyways. Adding flavor to the food. And you don't want to mess up a whole bunch of dishes and then you just have more dishes to clean. Already prepared everything. Still need to smash the garlic. And here I have onions. That's one regular size white onion. I have about a cup of celery. That's going to go in here. I'm wanting to get these carrots first. When I get these carrots where I want them, I'm going to put probably the garlic in. Followed by the onions. And I'll cover it up for a minute. I'm going to kind of sweat all that sugar and stuff out of the onions. If any of y'all want to hop in, I think I put a link up there at the top. Put another one in there. See if I can do this. Had to turn my phone upright because it was showing everything sideways. I don't know which one is going to show up as a guest on there. I'm using the phone and I'm using the thing. So, if you hit on that link, you might want to tell me so I can double check everything. I've got the mic going off of the computer. So that's why it's got the split screen thing with two of me. And I haven't been home all week, so I don't want to use both cameras. Okay, now it's about time to smash the garlic. And when I say smash the garlic, that is exactly what I mean. I don't know if you can see that. I generally don't dice garlic. I generally just smash it. I'm going to get just a little bit of a roasting. And then we're going to add a few other things. Yeah, it's also fun because you get to hit something. You know, just put the garlic clove under a good wide knife blade. I wouldn't go any smaller than that. And smash it, just like when you're cracking it open to peel it. Well, you push down on it, like the whole big ball of it, and you break it open, and you take the cloves out. You gotta peel them. And then you put it on there, you tap it slightly, and then it cracks it open so you can peel it. Then you throw away the peel, and then you just smash it. And that works really good. You're not going to know that's in the soup anyways. It'll kind of cook down into it. Vanessa Kitty, hello, how are you doing? The other thing is I was looking at my watch hours and all that stuff, and I kind of need to get those up. I've only got like, I think 376 subscribers, and I've got less than 300 watch hours on there. So I definitely need to get that up a whole lot. And that probably means going live. How am I cooking supper from home? I gotta be up early in the morning. Probably gotta get another turkey and cook it so I can do the gumbo. There we go. I'm probably going to use that cup here in a minute. And that would be celery. I'm making a mess here. And that would be onion. Kind of stir it around real good. If there's drippings and the olive oil all over everything. You can still hear me okay, right? Oh. I've got so much that I need to do. I wish I didn't have to go into work tomorrow, but it is what it is. It's part of it. I mean, with a big company, you can sort of, I don't know, you can make things work a lot easier. There's more drivers, there's more people to pull from, that sort of thing. But this is a small company that I work for. So not everyone can do everything. And me and this other driver are the only ones that could run the pneumatic trailer. I don't know what he did as far as getting himself fired, but apparently he's no longer there. And that means, okay, the lights just flickered. That means I'm the only one to do the job. I told my boss that I will happily trade anyone else to use that trailer, because I mean, I would love to take a vacation that did not involve me being injured or sick or something like that. But if I'm the only one there that can do it, I can't take off. So. Oh, if you're wondering what this is, I'll do a product placement for him. And he signed it. I don't know if you can read that or not. It's Old Humble Distilling Company, Double Oak Straight Rye Whiskey. And hold on. Anyways, that is Old Humble Distilling Company, Double Oak Straight Rye Whiskey, and it's pretty good. He's got a YouTube channel out there if you want to check him out. And this bottle I picked up directly from him. I don't know if you can see the signature on the side and the enjoy he wrote on it. Because I live in Huffman, he lives in Humble, which he's on the other side of the lake. His business is over there. And I like supporting local businesses whenever possible. He has other whiskeys too, so check him out. I would do a link to his channel, but I don't know how without ending all this. I've got YouTube pulled up, but I don't know how long it'll let me click over and then click back before it shuts it off. And I'd have to pull his channel up. But he's pretty cool. And he does chats and stuff like that too. And he'll have live bands and live music, that sort of stuff over there, promoting his business. I need to take Amy over there one Saturday night when he's got live bands. And I'm off work. I see things have to go together. I got burnt out on bourbon years ago. I think as a teenager, I drank too much bourbon because everybody'd have like Southern Comfort, Wild Turkey, whatever, Jack Daniels, all that sort of stuff. Usually if I'm drinking anything, it's either really good vodka, like carbon filtered stuff, or it's single malt, like double cask scotch. You know, depends on which grandmother I want to talk to. One was Scotch Irish, and the other was Czech. But this rye is pretty good. I don't drink a lot though. When I do, it's like I like having a glass or something, and I don't generally mix liquor. So if I'm drinking rye, I'm drinking rye. It's not exactly mixed with anything. Hello, Ghost Shadow. How are you doing? And happy Thanksgiving. And happy Thanksgiving to everyone else, if I didn't already say that. I haven't went live in a while. And just to fill anyone else in that hopped in later, I'm doing kind of like a beef and barley thing. I've already browned the meat, and I got that stuck to the side. And I sauteing the vegetables, did the carrots first, then put the garlic in. That was 3 cloves of garlic and about, what was that, a cup of celery and 1 just regular size, not a large one, just a regular size white onion. You just got home for dinner. Pretty cool. Okay, I'm being attacked. I'm fixing stuff. Start adding stuff to it. We're having like power surges and power outages. It's raining down here. It's not raining bad now. But a few places have had to deal with like street flooding and stuff like that. I was gonna ride my bike today, but not in this weather. I would have been fine getting to the in-laws' house, but coming back, it wouldn't have been a good idea. So I just took the pickup. Let's try this around a little more. And as always, be careful of steam because steam can burn you. And there's a whole bunch of hot water on the bottom of the lid when you pick it up. And you don't want to drip that on your foot or anything if you can avoid it. And that's getting pretty close to where I want it. Actually, I have a bigger thing over here. Double check the measurements. One cube and 1 cup. 4 cups, 4 cubes. Just to make sure I wasn't losing my mind. Don't have a whole lot of room. I have a really tiny kitchen. And we've got too much stuff. We keep going through and throwing things away and donating them, but we accumulate more stuff. I don't know if any of you've ever been in a house for 20 years, but you got a lot of things after 20 years in a house. Oh yeah, the pressure relief valve on the pressure cooker. The last time I used it, if you noticed, I had a rag and over it, and I'm kind of back at a distance. Because yes, that will burn you. It'll burn you the same as those hot water pipes at a chemical plant where they blow out steam. I got a friend, his face got burned by one of them. Four cups, 2 pints, 1 quart. Like I was saying, on the bottom of this, when you pick it up, it will have plenty of water and steam on the bottom of it. And that water and steam will run off the lid onto your foot, on your leg, that sort of stuff. Yes, I'm sitting in a chair. And this is beef bouillon cubes that I'm using. Weiler's brand, I believe. Instant bouillon beef cubes. So there's 1 cube. Turn my heat back up a little bit. I had it down about, just a hair under halfway. Everyone's stove is going to be a little bit different. I've only got 2 working burners. And half the time I have to start them with a match because my stove is really, really old. 2 cubes. That bearded guy, hello, how are you doing? Ghost Shadow says it's why he has multiple generators, 3 gas and 1 diesel. I keep wanting to get a generator. I just haven't done it. We were looking at solar, and the problem with the solar is even for like what they want to start you off with, and you can add panels later. Just that startup, and you get a huge tax break and all that good stuff. And what they end up doing is they finance you. And it's like you're financing another house. It came up to like $62,000. And your electric bill is supposed to compensate for that, for your payments. But around here, I really don't trust that. Because what they did with our water wells was they would come through and they would force you to tie in the city water so that they could use water from your water well. And you would get money off of that for a few years. And then they would come through and they would condemn your well and then force you to use city water to get everyone off of well water. And when they do stuff like that, I just don't trust them. Don't know if there's anything similar where any of y'all live, but that's what happened here. DJ Play Nice, how are you doing? Mix this in good. It's supposed to only take like a 1/4 cup of the barley. I might put a little more. I don't know. I'm sort of fixing half of what I usually fix. You can use regular thyme or you can use ground thyme. I guess I use a lot of marjoram. And instead of putting in a teaspoon, I'm going to put in a half a teaspoon of marjoram. You don't want to over spice it either. I'm going to put in a half a teaspoon of oregano. And it doesn't have to be some fancy brand or anything like that. The only reason I got the Spice Island thing there is all my oregano plants got taken out this year, and marjoram got taken out in a storm, or I'd be growing my own, and it's a little bit harder to find than other spices. Marjoram is sweet oregano. A lot of Eastern Europeans use it. Middle East calls it sweet oregano, literally, and it's in the oregano family. The difference between it and the oregano I'm putting in now, which is a half a teaspoon, is the oregano most people think of is more of a savory, whereas the marjoram is more of a sweet. No, I didn't mean like spicy food, like hot, like over spice it. I was talking about the other things like the thyme and what have you. You don't want it to put so much spice in there that you overpower everything. And usually I would put like a half a teaspoon of thyme, and you can use regular thyme or you can use ground thyme. I just happen to have ground thyme. So I'm going to use this is about a quarter of a teaspoon of thyme. I'm going to put that in there. But yeah, that's more what I was thinking of over spicing. I like hot food too. But you don't want to overpower it with the spices. You still want to get your flavor from, the onions and the carrot and the garlic and the broth and the meat and everything else. You have it all kind of meld together. Not have like one of your spices or something like overpower the whole dish. Oh, sarcasm. Yeah, sometimes. It doesn't, but yeah, I know what you mean. Now for the part that will take a while. These old school boxes, I never get them right. And that's the barley I'm using. It's just Quaker medium barley. Old school box. It's always a pain in the ass to open. My computer was making noise, so Hopefully you can still hear me. Don't worry, the barley will swell up. And that's the last of the barley out of that box. I have another box. Also a good prepping supply if you do that sort of thing to go along with your rice and what have you, because if God forbid you ever had to use that sort of thing for its intended purpose, you might want a little variety in your diet. So along with stockpiling the rice and everything else, you might want to pick up a few things like barley. This is not quite a third of a cup. It's a little over a quarter, but not quite a third. Now, if I had a big production or something, I'd have this already made, which I used to love watching that, like watch Justin Wilson or Julia Child or The Frugal Gourmet or any of those. And they'd basically have the dish already made, and they go through the stages of making it, and then they would stop because, that stage is going to take X amount of time. So then they move on to the next stage, and they had another pot already ready that was already there. And that was pretty good. And we're going to add our hamburger meat back in. And don't be afraid to use your hands. You're cooking, keep some paper towels, something to wipe them off with, but you're going to get dirty. That's just part of it. Mix it in there real good. And another thing is, I don't want a big spoon for this. Oh well, she took my little spoon. Whether you're making, gravy or soup, or it's flour for frying something in, always taste it. Even flour, taste your flour. That way, you know whether to add or subtract or whatever. And that's about right. I wouldn't put any more than that in there. A lot of things are subjective. Like, one person wants more salt than another person does, and you're going to want more salt than the other person. Or less. Oh yeah, I need to do that one day. Or make my own stock. Like, one of the things I want to do when I get enough time to actually do it, because it is a time-consuming process, is do like chicken noodle soup and start with a small chicken and make my own stock from the chicken. You debone it, and then you boil the bones and scrape off the top, run it through a cheesecloth and put it back in, and you come up with your own. You basically boil the bones and everything you boil the chicken in, and then make your noodles. I might do that with the chicken and venison gumbo. I'm not sure yet though. haven't even made up my mind if I want to make my own roux or use the same one that I used last year. There's a dry roux that HEB sells that works really, really good. I kind of want it a little bit darker though. I don't know. I like a good dark roux for gumbo. Which means I'm going to have to brave HEB on Black Friday at some point, like when I get off work. And what time is it? 8:47. Which means this meal will be ready at about 9:47. Well, 9:45, 9:40, something like that. A little after 9:30. I'm going to turn my heat down to about halfway. Cover it, and all that's really left is for the barley to cook. And at that point, you have beef and barley. It's pretty good. I need to do chicken and barley at some point. Please save you. Can't really do anything about that. Thank you for joining, though, that bearded guy. I think that's kind of the point in Paul Harrell's video, too. Put on the headphones and listen to that. I love family, but once it starts getting too extended, it's like I can't stay there for that extended amount of time. At least with my family, because somebody's going to get in a fight, somebody's going to get something. I like my wife's family much better than I like my own. She has a smaller family, but they all get along. They're all nice to each other. There's no family feuds, no any of that. And it's awesome. Every time my family gets together, the cops are involved, you know. So I don't stick around that very long. But if you follow the process here from the beginning, that took about 40 minutes. And it's going to take another hour. So you figure this meal, sorry, I had to cough. You figure this meal will take about an hour and 45 minutes to make. And that's chopping up your vegetables, everything, unless you're just real slow at that. And the power flickered again. Hopefully I'm still live. And again. And again. If the power goes out, I'm sorry. I don't know how much longer it would be on. And it might actually go to just my phone at that point, in which time I would have to unmute it, so it might stay going. I don't know. But if it does, leave a comment in there and let me know. But if you're real slow at chopping vegetables, plan on 2 hours, I guess. And I mean, it's 1 onion, about 3 celery stalks. I use small carrots because it's harder to get the big ones right now. And that was about 5 or 6 small carrots. Chopped them up, doesn't take long. It's just the barley takes a long time. Superbad videos. Yes, I made it home, and happy Thanksgiving to you and your family as well as everyone else's. At least everyone today was more or less along the same political lines. There's no political arguments or anything. I feel sorry for anyone that's having to sit through that with relatives that are just like directly opposing each other politically. Because our politics are not very good right now. They just played Biden on my TV saying he wants to ban all semi-automatic weapons. That's what, 99% of all guns? That would be every Glock, every SIG, every 1911, everything but a revolver. But if someone knows what they're doing, they can do the same thing with a revolver. They'd have... Well, I'm not going to do that because YouTube might take that the wrong way. I'm not going to say how, but, it's a tool. And depending on how good someone is with the tool, unfortunately, they can do a lot of damage. And if you're on my chat, you probably already know that myth of being able to take someone out when they're reloading is a myth. If they have any idea of what they're doing, unless you're the Flash or something. Pretty much you're going to charge someone that's shooting at you. And he's probably going to get a few of you. Unfortunately, that's the world we live in. I wish it wasn't. When they were talking about putting armed security and stuff like that at all the schools and more metal detectors and all that, people were talking about, well, if we did that, what kind of world do we live in? Well, we live in a kind of world where people are shooting up schools. So you might want to put some more security and prepare for that situation, try to prevent it. And it's boiling away there. See, every once in a while, I actually remember that water is going to roll off the underside of the lid. Occasionally, I remember that. If I didn't mention it before, that's a pound of hamburger meat that I put in there. I usually use 2 pounds of hamburger meat and basically double up on everything else. So I just cut all the ingredients in half. I don't know if y'all want to stay on here for the next, 45 minutes until the barley's done. But if you want to stay here and talk, that'll be perfectly all right with me. And if one of y'all wanted to hop in, even better. See if I can post another link. I am broadcasting to YouTube, Twitch, and Rumble. So if you're on Rumble, hello. If one of y'all could check Rumble, that'd be awesome. And if you're on Twitch, I don't think I've had a Twitch viewer yet. I might have once or twice. But if you're on Twitch, hello, and thank you for watching. And of course, YouTube, thank you. And Edward Espinoza. It's all right. You can always rewatch later. You're here now, and thank you for joining us. I think I'm going to make that chocolate pie when I get home tomorrow. Either that or start on the gumbo or something. I don't know. But I do want to make those two things this weekend. And I've also got 2 other videos to do at some point. One's on a gas cap that I got for my bike, and the other is on a trickle charger. Also, if suddenly there's a whole bunch of commotion, every once in a while my house turns into like the old Tom and Jerry cartoons where the lady was chasing the dog, who's chasing the cat, who's chasing the rat, and they're all going around in a circle. Except I don't think there's any rats here, but we do have a mastiff and we have 2 cats. And every once in a while that happens. Armed teachers, armed security guards, metal detectors. Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. They shouldn't be soft targets. It's really our most precious resource would be our children. So why would we leave that as a soft target? And honestly, I think we should erase these people, like back to their birth certificates. You commit such a horrible crime like that, we just erase all record of you. No one shows your picture. No one makes a celebrity out of you by posting you all over the news media, thereby inspiring and creating the next psycho. We just erase you. Pull your school records, erase them, erase every record that you ever existed. Do not give them the time of day. And on the other shooting that happened, do I go to Walmart unarmed? Hell no. I'm not going to be a victim, and if I'm taking out, I'll go out fighting. And what's kind of hard to rationalize, I guess, for some people, is we actually live in one of the most peaceful times in history. Even with the wars that are going on, even with these mass shootings and what have you, society used to be a whole lot more violent, a whole lot more rough. People died for stupid reasons. People killed each other for the same stupid reasons they kill each other now. And people were more just brutal to others. So even with everything that's going on, we live in probably the best time in history to live. As far as if you want an easy life with a better chance at a long life and less violence. Because it used to be a whole lot worse. And I'm not talking the 90s, unless you want to go to the 1890s or 1690s or something. I mean, look at what people like Columbus did to the natives when they met them. Absolutely brutal. Or even the Vikings, which are some of my ancestors as well. I've got the Eastern European side and the Norse side, Scandinavian, whatever you want to call it, and the Irish and the Scottish and a little bit of English in there. But, well, they were mostly farmers and they went raiding. But I mean, hell, they used to give people blood eagles. Oh, with the rock crusher. Yeah, make that pay-per-view. No, not even make it pay-per-view, though, because that would give them too much attention. I had an idea for a more brutal death for people like that. Use the same form of impalement that was replaced by crucifixion, because crucifixion was considered more humane. Do that. Get medieval. That's further back than medieval. You know? Maybe if they knew something like that was going to happen with them and that stuff, maybe it'd be a better deterrent. I don't know. BJ, play nice. Happy holiday. All be safe. Have fun. Carry your guns and rock. Well, same to you. I think pretty much everyone in this chat carries. It's a potluck as to what I'm carrying. Could be a 1911. Could be a 329. Could be a little Glock or something. The only reason I bought a Glock was so I could shoot GSSF, because we have the competition. And that's the only thing anymore that I have. Well, no, I have more 9mm. But I've only got one Glock. It's a little Glock 26, so I can shoot in 2 different divisions. But I do have more 9mm. I got my SIGs and my Berettas. But anymore, it's either what I originally carried, which would be a 1911, or a lot of the times I'm carrying a 329 PD, which is awesome to carry. Kind of brutal to shoot, though. It's light. And it comes with little wood grips and big rubber grips. If you're just going to shoot it at the range, the big rubber grips are the best ones to have on it. If you are going to carry it, it carries better with the little wood grips. And being as light as it is very brutal to shoot. But it's doable. It's not something you're going to go to the range and shoot 100 rounds through just because 44 Magnum is too expensive and your hands will be bleeding. And I like Ghost Shadow's idea. Wood chipper. That works. We need like a real brutal form of punishment. Like erase their identity from existence and just something so brutal that no one would want to do it. See, even if they manage to take all the guns and everything away, there's still knives, there's still everything else. There's so many other options, and quite frankly, there's more terrifying options than a gun. I mean, look at that guy in, what was that, Nashville a few years ago? Had an RV and just like blew up a block. To me, that's more terrifying. I mean, if somebody has a gun, you have a chance. You can fight back, you can run. But then just not knowing and some psycho blows something up, that is way more terrifying. Oh, yeah. People drive through crowds with cars and they're not drunk. Hell, with the basic knowledge of chemistry and just what's under your kitchen cabinet, there's a whole lot that people could do. Maybe that's the only good benefit of how much they've been dumbing down our country and our education system. Maybe and hopefully they're too stupid to figure that out. Oh yeah, it's just like a car jack kind of pump. Yeah, where it's just like you pump, you pump, you pump, like a little bitty hand jack kind of thing. Maybe. Being flayed alive. Something brutal. Wolfbane, that's a good idea. So, I mean, a gun is just a tool. That's all it is. It's a tool. There are always going to be psychotic people. And there's an unlimited number of tools that they could use. Another reason I kind of want a suit. I keep coughing. And like I said, the only bad thing about cooking barley is how long it takes to actually cook the barley. But if you want to add flavor and stuff to your soups, do what do they call that? Like mirepoix, roux, what have you. You start that stuff beforehand. Or just your vegetables, your onions, and all that stuff. You chop them up. Don't chunk that in there after you get your water boiling. You saute those in the bottom of the pot. And that just adds so much flavor to the soup. Oh yeah. Make it like something that would make that dude from Saw be like, yeah, a little like a step beyond something that he would be, or she, which movie it is, and make it like a step beyond something that they would be willing to do. I think the government with all these bots and everything online, they figured out a long time ago which people are more likely to snap and which people aren't. And in a lot of senses, every form of media is brainwashing, where that's not necessarily a bad thing. But if you lean more right and you watch more Fox News and you watch more stuff like that, you're going to be getting more of that kind of view, and the media just kind of focuses it towards you. Hate for Hillary, hate for this. And if you lean left, it's going to focus that kind of view towards you, where hate for Donald Trump, what have you. And it's like they're trying to control you with whatever biases that you have. And now everyone's on social media and it's filled with bots. You don't know who's real, who's not. And I think the government knows how to manipulate people who might be on the edge or might be leaning one way or the other, or like they can identify the people who would be likely to do something horrific. And they could push the right buttons, if that makes sense. Like the experiments they did on, what was that, the Unabomber, that kind of drove him crazy. And I think the government learned how to do that. Might be a conspiracy theory there, but I'm sure you get what I'm saying. Neurotoxins. Ouch. Fight each other. Oh, there's a lot you could do to them. I mean, we've got a lot of barbed wire fence. I don't know if I want to say that one online out loud. There's a lot you could do to them. But I still think the government manipulates people to do things. And the algorithms and everything, where people get in a bubble and that's all they hear. It's the algorithm wants the views. They want you to watch more, so they find out what you like, what you're interested in. And you eventually think the whole world thinks like you do. Because that's what you see. That's the image of the world that it presents to you. But the whole world doesn't think like you, or me, or anyone else. And you kind of get trapped in that environment with the way social media works. I don't know if they can change that, though, and I don't even know if that part is intentional, as more they're wanting to make money, so they're wanting to keep your attention longer, so they're going to keep showing you the things that you're interested in. So if you're an anti-vaxxer, they're going to show you more anti-vaxxer stuff and more links to more information. You go down that rabbit hole. Everyone's went down a rabbit hole on the web. And something we're going to look up for like 10 minutes, and 3 hours later you're still reading stuff about it. Music and movies too, yes. Movies, that whole Hollywood thing, where Hollywood puts a whole lot of myths out there, where, just like a silencer, people think that it silences a gun. When there is something like a hush puppy, something like that, and it's got the little plastic, what do you call them, in there. But basically, once you shoot it, it gets louder and louder and louder every time you shoot it, the little wipes that are in there. Or their gun handling, or their conspiracies, or what have you. Yeah, they control free speech. Which is the other thing, too, is the only speech that needs protection is unpopular speech. The speech that you personally do not like, that you do not want to hear, that's what you need to protect, because if that doesn't exist, we do not have free speech. I may just be an older generation on that, but I mean, the blue-haired liberal on the street corner screaming free drive-through abortions or something, in order to have free speech, you have to protect their speech as well. That's the way I was always taught. But I mean, I grew up in the 90s and 80s and, well, 80s, early 90s, and it was just different. I mean, we still had conservative Democrats. I don't even think that exists anymore. So about 15, 20 more minutes and the barley should be done. And yes, you can add a little bit more of the beef broth to it. If you want it more soupy, I kind of like having chunks in there. What else? Been live for an hour and 17 minutes. Not bad. But yeah, they control a lot of things. They manipulate you. All forms of media are essentially propaganda. It doesn't matter if it's Fox News or if it's CNN. Both of them are propaganda. Both of them can be considered state media to a degree. And that's a cat, if you can hear her in the background. Yeah, it's all propaganda. It's all stuff designed to manipulate you, to guide you in the direction they want you to go. I mean, imagine, especially if you don't know much about the topic, like when Biden's out there talking about guns and just the fantastical bullshit that he comes up with. There are people out there who believe that because they don't really have a frame of reference. You know, they don't understand that a 5.56 is an intermediate cartridge, you know, or that a 9mm is not going to blow your lung out or any of that. But they can project that image out there. Sheila Jackson Lee talk about how heavy an AR-15 was. It was, 9 or 10 boxes, how big the ammo was. It's like an AR-15 is kind of known for being a light weapon with a little bitty bullet. One of the smallest calibers that you can shoot. But if you don't know a lot about guns or anything, you might not understand that. And you just see it's used in Hollywood and what Hollywood shows that it does, and then you believe that stuff. And Hollywood tends to put out a version of society how they see it and kind of manipulate the masses to view society in the same way. I mean, it's just look at some of the myths and stuff that are out there. Like, people thinking you can do something like file down a firing pin and make it automatic. And that's the wrong part, number one, to be messing with. You might pierce a primer, you know, but they've been told those myths, or that you can fire a gun so many rounds and it'll become an automatic. Well, that comes from a specific gun that the sear was breaking on, and that's just a myth. You know, there's a specific gun that had a specific problem due to a defect. But there's so many people that believe they can go out there and fire like 2,000 or 4,000 rounds, and like magically they'll have an automatic. And we all know that's not going to happen. You know. I don't know how Matt does this when he's by himself. I think he has a lot more people in the chat and a lot more questions and stuff coming up. Probably makes it easier. Turn my heat down just a little bit more. Wasn't shaking or anything, but if your lid up here is shaking and all that kind of stuff, you might want to turn your heat down. Yeah, if people already have a bias of they don't like guns hurt people, what have you, and they don't understand them, and they don't want, that's another thing, is a lot of people don't want to know any more information. They just believe what they're told from an authoritative source, and well, an authoritative source told them this, and that's where they're at. You know, look at how many cops can't even disassemble a 1911. Yes, governments hurt people. And then, I mean, our pharmaceutical industry. Look at all the advertisements and stuff they put out for things that, you know, in 5 years there's going to be lawsuits over. The stuff that they claim, the way they market, and even with all the warnings on the end, you don't really pay attention to the warnings anymore. And these companies understand that. You're going to look at the rest of the advertisement. You know, because literally everything has a side effect, could possibly cause death or what have you, and all that sort of thing. And of course, there's money in treatment, there's not money in cures. And the stuff they've done to the country, like saying that Oxycontins were not addictive, when they're very, very addictive, and the opiate problem that we have. You know, those people should be on trial. They should be in prison. Death penalty would be a good idea. Considering the amount of lives that they cost. And then, you know, you have stuff that you actually need to save your life and how much it costs. I don't know if any of y'all need to carry an EpiPen, but how much an EpiPen actually costs. And you actually have to have that for in case you're stung by a bee, or, you know, there's some kind of shellfish derivative in your food, or who knows what. You know, there ends up being a price on your life. And the older you get, the more health issues that you have. The more of your income goes towards your health. So I guess get all your toys when you're young. And the government promotes all this stuff. Or look at the food pyramid that most of us were taught in school and how much bullshit that is. That was based on the sugar industry, paying politicians and people money. And look at probably the number of deaths that they cause. Look at all the sugar we have and everything, and how much. They even changed the name of products to keep them in products. Like, a lot of things don't call corn syrup anymore. They have a different name for it because people started catching on. And how bad sugar is for your health. And this is a society that, when I was little, the 1 liter Coke was something you got for your family. That was like a family size thing. You still got small Cokes. And I can remember I think my camera died. It's still showing an image up there. But I can remember glass Coke bottles. And I can remember when they went to the round bottle and you had to reach down in the cooler for it. I'm going to try to plug this thing in. So, let me know what it's showing on your end. Did we lose the camera? I think we did. Okay. We lost the camera feed. So hopefully this thing will charge my phone. Because I was using it for a camera. All the stuff that we put in our food. I mean, even this olive oil right here. Well, it says olive oil. Virgin olive oils. Or refined olive oils and virgin olive oils. Why would they need to put the parentheses in there? I question it when they do stuff like that. Like, what are they hiding? Or one of these shakes that my wife likes to drink, if I can read this. Water, milk protein concentrate, cocoa powder, processed with alkali fructose, there's sugar right there. Less than 2% of canola oil, soluble corn fiber, soy protein. Anything with soy has a lot of estrogen. And as much soy is used in our food, that might have something to do with, like, sperm counts and stuff like that have been going down. Sodium citrate, that's a preservative. Cellulose gel, soy fiber, magnesium phosphate, potassium citrate, potassium chloride, that's salt, choline chloride, calcium phosphate, another soy lecithine, whatever that is, monoglycerides, liquid sucralose, another concentrate, that's another sugar, another cellulose gum, then salt by itself, magnesium, asflame, potassium, psyllium gum, ferrous sulfate, zinc sulfate, vitamin B, cornstarch, calcium, I can't pronounce that word, something, thiamine, hydrochloride, absorbic acid, folic acid, potassium iodide. I can't read that. My eyes aren't that good. Sodium selenate, chromium chloride, sodium molybdate, biotin, vitamin D, and then contains milk and soy ingredients. This is just a shake for diabetics. Yeah, big agriculture. But I mean, it's a shake. Glycerna, shake, Hunger Smart. Why does it have all those things in it? We have over here, what is this? Great time for my camera to go out. Peanut butter. What should be in here? Peanuts, let's see. Ingredients: peanut butter, roasted peanuts, sugar, less than 2% of molasses, hydrogenated vegetable oil. I think that's supposed to say grapeseed. It doesn't say grapeseed. And cottonseed, salt, sugar, and honey. Why does it need that many ingredients? I can understand the molasses. And I can understand adding a little sugar, but I think you could get the sugar from the molasses. It's got salt. It's got so many different forms in there. But that's not actually bad. That's actually, it's not a long list of ingredients like what I just read. So that's not bad. Let's compare. I've got, what is that? Skippy over here. What does Skippy have? Roasted peanuts, sugar, hydrogenated vegetable oil, cottonseed, soybean, and grapeseed oil to prevent separation, and salt. So Skippy has less ingredients than Peter Pan. You know? We have HEB Organics applesauce. Organic apples, organic apple juice concentrate, water, organic cinnamon, and absorbic acid, which is vitamin C. That's not bad. That's just stuff that's within reach of me at the moment. So, I mean, just look at the ingredients on the back of your food. Arterial sclerosis, that kills a lot of people. That kills a ton of men. Nearly every male on my mom's side of the family died of that. Well, it's a heart attack, but but what's weird on that one, that Iceman that they thought out, what is his name, Otzi or something like that, 5,000 years ago, he had an axe on him, a glacier went over him, all that, should probably know who I'm talking about. He's the oldest murder victim we know of. They figured out he died, an arrow shot him. And they did an autopsy on him. And they figured out that he had the arterial sclerosis too. And he had like the most natural diet that you could possibly have. You know? At a certain point, our cells are only going to divide so many times and then we're going to die. I think that's somewhere around 50. So there's a clock, whether we want it or not. No, the stuff that's allowed in your food as well is just insane. And like 100% beef isn't 100% beef, but when you buy 100% beef, you're expecting it to be 100% beef, but it can be X amount of percentage of this, and that. So, what are you going to do, you know? We're getting pretty close to done. Where did my spoon go? There we go. Let's see if I can get my phone back on for the end of the chat to get a picture of the soup. Oh yeah, we have a very sedimentary lifestyle, most people do. And I'm not talking just like truck drivers, which I drive a truck. And I get more physical activity than most office workers because I pull a tanker and I've got to lug hoses and drag them through the mud. And I do roll-off work, so I've got to climb on top of boxes and throw tarps and that sort of thing. But we're not meant to sit in one place and do nothing all day. It's getting there. I don't know if you can hear my cat in the background. Hopefully she's not going in the heat again. I need to get her fixed. Her options are limited. I think she tries to come onto the dog. G23, how are you doing? Thank you for joining. My camera went out a while ago, so I was using my phone and it died, so I'm trying to give it enough charge here that hopefully I can turn it back on in a minute. What can I say? The things that happen when you go live. Yeah, it sounds like she is. I feel sorry for her. The dog's not even interested. He's fixed. So he couldn't do anything anyways. Soup is getting close to done. Just trying to put a little charge on my phone here. There's always a delay between YouTube and StreamYard, so I don't know when y'all are putting your comments out there. So if I'm not like right on top of the comment, just a reminder that there is a delay when it posted. I've been moving around more lately, and I've had issues over the last 2 years, health issues, between sciatica and having a motorcycle accident that prevented me from moving. And I'm trying to move more. I'm trying to watch more of what I eat more natural, or at least the best that I can, and cut sugars out and try to lose weight, that sort of thing. I haven't had much sugar over the past month, and I can tell you I do have a lot more energy by cutting the sugar out. And I'm someone that has to stay awake at work for like 16, 17, 18 hours a day, because they turn 11 and 14 into being able to split your hours by 2.5, or 3 hours, which extends your 14, and you end up with 17 hours. So we have a good Thanksgiving. Yes. We went over to my mother-in-law's house, and both of our boys are over there right now playing video games. One's 19, soon to be 20, and the other one just turned 29. And her aunt and uncle were over there, and they had turkey and everything else, and it was good. I left the leftovers there, so I'm probably going to be looking for a small turkey tomorrow. And if I can find one that's thawed out, great. If not, I may have to thaw one out overnight, because I'm still wanting to do turkey and venison gumbo if I can. Maybe I can get a deal on our turkeys. It's the day after Thanksgiving. I don't know. Cut costs where I can. Haven't so much cut out the carbs. I don't think people want me to cut out the carbs completely, but I did cut out the sugars. How should I put it? What do they call it? The refined sugars. The stuff that's in your Cokes and you put in your coffee and everything else. I cut all that stuff. Your energy drinks, that sort of thing. Trying to get sugar-free on that one. Yeah, I lost 40 pounds on the COVID diet too, and I gained it back. That COVID diet is real. It's kind of like the paycheck diet, if any of you have ever been on that. You can't cheat on a paycheck diet. It's okay. Yeah, I think she's shit out of luck. Yeah, I think it's the fake sugars, the fake stuff, the chemicals that they put in everything. And honestly, the fake sugar is basically a chemical. I'm not saying that if you had sugar cane and you made sugar from sugar cane, that sugar is necessarily as bad as the stuff that they're putting in your Coke, just maybe all natural cane sugar would be better than all these different forms of sugar they're putting into everything to get us basically addicted to it. They're using the combinations of artificial fats and sugars and stuff like that to get us basically addicted to a bunch of empty calories, whereas the real food isn't so empty. See if I can get my phone going again. Because the soup's basically done. Okay, I'm going to try to keep this from squealing. It may squeal for a second. Try to put this back up here where I had it. Okay. Trying to adjust it. Is the audio and everything still coming in fine? If it's squealing or anything, let me know. I don't know how well you can see this with this camera. You can add more broth to it. I wanted a little broth and a lot of the rest. See if we can get that. If you can see it. Beef and barley soup. Sugar beets, yes. And I don't like the beet juice that they put on the road. There's a brine that they get from that they'll put down instead of salt, like the calcium chloride. And oh my God, that stuff is slick. It's worse than the ice. But hopefully y'all can see that. I'll try to put that up there again. Beef and barley. And I've been live for an hour and 50 minutes. So I guess if you want to cook this, just plan on about 2 hours time, an hour and 45 minutes to 2 hours time before it's ready to put on the table. And that is the perfect amount of seasoning. So, and once again, like I said, taste your soup, taste your broth when you're cooking it. If you're making fried chicken or something, taste your flour before you fry your chicken. Basically, taste your food while you're cooking it. And if you have guests over, use a different spoon every time. They might get offended if you don't. But anyways, this is supper. This is supper, and I hope you've enjoyed the show so far. Might keep it going to make it even 2 hours, so another 8 minutes. Oh, the homeless camps. I saw a lot more of those homeless camps like from '08 when they went up compared to before. But then what I noticed is that a lot of those camps that went up after '08, it's not like they went away. It's just that the media stopped reporting because they're still there. I drive all over the country. And like you go up to Portland and you stop at the TA there in Troutdale, you got all the homeless people that live in the culverts. You can see them in the mornings crawling out, sitting on top of a culvert, smoking a cigarette. And you can look under the underpasses. Everybody knows where to go, where they're at. I don't know what the solution there is, because just cleaning them out, going through, and when they do that, they take every worldly possession that these people have and they lose it. Everything that means anything to them, they end up losing it. And throwing them in jail overnight for vagrancy or what have you isn't going to help. And there's some people that want to live that life. There's people like me that I've been homeless before. I've been homeless as a child and homeless as an adult. And I crawled my way out, and I didn't stay there. It was a temporary situation. And then there's people that it's not a temporary situation. They just, I don't know what you could do. And it's everything from mental health to just living the life. I think that's the only way that I could put it, And I don't think you can really get them off the streets. So what do you do? I don't have the answer for that. Dustin Corneliuson. I was making beef and barley. I used up the last of that 1 box of barley and made about half what I normally would. Because I'm usually, whatever I cook on the weekend is what I take out with me on the week. And I put that in my fridge in the truck, and I heat that up, and I eat that throughout the week. But I made like a half-size portion. A pound of hamburger meat. What was that? About a half cup carrots. A cup of celery. 1 normal size, kind of medium white onion chopped up. A quart of beef broth, which I made with 4 bouillon cubes, and I used just over a 1/4 cup of barley. A half a teaspoon of marjoram, half a teaspoon of oregano, and a quarter teaspoon of thyme. It's a tough situation. But then there's so many people that you could give them everything, take them in off the street. There's some cities that are putting them in apartments and they're just going to become like drug infested slums. They're not going to want to go out there and get a job. I mean, even if you train them, they'll go back. Oh God, I don't know how to describe the taste of barley. It's barley. Like you can eat barley for breakfast. It's not really a lot of flavor so much from the barley. You're getting the flavor from the meat and everything else in there. It's almost like the barley's a filler, but it's a good filler. And it tastes good. I don't know how to describe that. You've never had beef and barley soup. Yeah, Ghost Shadow, that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of mental issues. They're not going to bathe every day. They're not going to do a lot of things every day. It's a tough situation. Next time you're at a restaurant that has like beef and barley soup, try it. One of the next barley things I make will probably be chicken and barley. But it's a grain, I guess that's the only way I can really describe the taste is it's a grain. You can replace a lot of things with it. What it says on the box. Good source of fiber, low in fat, no saturated fat or cholesterol. Actually, I want to say the box for the recipes. If you see this box at your grocery store, and this is Quaker medium barley, on the back side, they got recipes, and I don't know if they got different recipes on all the boxes, but this one has hearty vegetable and barley soup, and they have chicken and barley chili. And it says great flavor of chili with a healthy twist. I might even try that right off the box and see if I like it. for one of my next videos. I don't know which one, but that actually sounds good. Chili powder, cumin, water, barley, salsa or tomato sauce. I think right now I would change one thing on that recipe. Instead of a 16-ounce jar of salsa tomato sauce, I would probably use Rotel. Let me see. I have a can of Rotel over here. Way over here, I do. Okay. This is something I use too. And Matt also uses this stuff. See if I can get you a good view of it. Rotel. And it's diced tomatoes and green chilies. And they have a couple of other varieties of Rotel that are variations on it. This one's the original. And like when I made the spaghetti, and I'll make spaghetti with spaghetti squash. I'll use that for the noodles. And then when I make the meat sauce to go on it, which that's basically what I'm making, you know, instead of hamburger meat, I'll use Italian sausage, and you know, kind of you got your marinara thing going on. Use a big can of like the peeled tomatoes, a small can of tomato paste, and I will use one of these. And that works out really, really good. If you've never tried it, you know. I think I might try this recipe. But instead of salsa or tomato sauce, I would use the Rotel. I think I just got a video idea. Coolness. Barley's not expensive. And like I said earlier, if you're into prepping and stuff like that, along with, you know, buying rice and those sort of things, not a bad idea to add barley in with it, a few boxes of it, just because if what you're stockpiling that stuff for, if that ever happened, you might want a little change in the menu every once in a while. And I live on the Gulf Coast. When Hurricane Ike hit, we were without power for over a month. You know, anyone that lives on the Gulf Coast that doesn't at least have water stockpiled, some kind of food they can cook without electricity, they can get by for at least a week or two without having to go anywhere, they're crazy. Because at some point you're going to need that. And the same up north, you know, you get snowed in and you're not getting out until somebody plows you out, and you need to be able to, you might not have electricity. You need other sources of heat. You need other sources of, you know, ways to cook your food. I've cooked food on a wood stove that wasn't meant to cook food on. In fact, Thanksgiving dinner, me and my mom one year, because the gas was turned off because we didn't pay it, you know, we were poor, and we had no way to cook anything, and we used that wood stove and aluminum foil, and we cooked a turkey, and we cooked stuffing and sweet potatoes and all that kind of stuff off of a wood stove that was not meant for cooking. I mean, luckily it was, you know, cast iron and a nice good flat surface we could use and that sort of thing. But you get ingenuitive. And that's probably where a lot of my views come from, is growing up that poor and even being homeless when I was a child and just the things that we had to do kind of carries with you the rest of your life. Oh yeah, spices. Like I've got garlic growing in my yard. I've got onions. Lettuce is a good thing to plant. If you can, things like carrots last a lot longer if you store them correctly. Potatoes are good things to have growing around. But spices, like fresh spices, are awesome and renewable. Um, and also, there's like just the spice jars and everything. I'm going to be growing more marjoram this spring. I'm going to order the seeds to do that. If you can have some fresh stuff growing around outside, that is awesome. But also, things like this: oregano, marjoram, thyme, and things like bouillon. Beef bouillon, chicken bouillon, canned milk goes a long way. Like evaporated milk, even condensed milk, depending on what you're cooking. There are things you can still make and have nice sweets, and you can make gravy. And it's a good food store, but you need to cycle through it. Like, don't use the stuff that you buy. Use the stuff that you have stored and replace it with what you buy. But there's so much you can do with it. I mean, if you can just make a fire and you have a pot and you have some spices and you got like rice or you've got barley and you got, just some kind of even canned vegetables you can use. If you got fresh ones, even better. As long as you can make a fire and you have something you can boil water in, you can eat pretty good. Which would be another thing. I mean, that can just lead down a whole rabbit hole. If you don't know how to make a fire, I would learn. If you don't know how to make a fire without matches and a lighter, learn how to do that. I've always got a Zippo. Not Zippo, Zippo. That's what that is. The refillable lighter. Windproof. No matter where I go, what part of the country I'm in, wherever I'm at, I've got a pocket knife. And I can do a lot with that in a pocket knife. Oh yeah, dandelions. You can make dandelion salad. That is awesome. Or you can kind of grill them a little bit. That's also awesome too. Like saute them in a pan. Dandelions are good food. Wild onion. Knowing which ones grow in your area and which ones that you can eat and which ones are going to make you sick real quick. The same with mushrooms. The same with a lot of things. Like, it's just a good idea to know what things grow naturally in your area that you can eat. I mean, who knows what our governments are going to do? Who knows when the next natural disaster is going to come through? And what's to say all these people are right and we go into a depression or what have you? Everything crashes. There's still going to be natural disasters, even if they keep everything afloat and everything costs a lot, but society's still moving along. The food's expensive, but it's still in the stores. It's harder to get diesel and gas and what have you, but you can get enough to get by for your daily routine, there's still going to be natural disasters. And when they hit, if we're in that kind of a position, everything's going to be that much worse. Um, the way you weld cast iron is by brazing. And Dustin, to your comment, you need a torch and you need a brazing rod and you need another torch, like a rosebud, something like that, because you have to heat the cast iron up in order to weld it. You got to get it glowing hot. Well, yeah, Ghost Shadow, you lived in Alaska where if you didn't know how to take care of yourself, if you weren't prepared, you might not make it. You know, the cold is a whole different animal. Especially that kind of cold. Down here, the heat, you can find ways, you know, as long as you can find water or something like that. That's different too, but when it gets that cold, you have to be prepared. You know, I say prepared with everything that I have on my truck. But freezing to death is a real thing. Well, yeah, you can use old pennies and stuff like that. Brazing rod is going to be copper anyways. But you have to heat up the cast iron with another torch. And you get that stuff glowing, just glowing red. And you keep it there. And then you take your other torch and you're melting your brazing rod into it. I did that to a block on a 79 Mustang that had the 2.3 liter 4-cylinder. When I bought it, it had a rod thrown to the side of the block down by the oil pan. And I took a piece of cast iron angle iron and I brazed it to the block to fill the hole and replace that part of the lip for the oil pan. And I ground it down and I ran that car for several years. The things you have to do when you're poor. Get ingenuitive. Learn how to fix things yourself. Learn as many skills as you can. If you don't know how to work on a car, learn. If you don't know how to do basic plumbing, learn. And even if everything stays good, it saves you money down the road, because instead of paying someone to do something, you can do it yourself. When you get that check engine light on your car, you don't freak out. You hook a code reader up to it, whether you already have one or you go to the parts store and you borrow theirs. It says something like evaporative emissions controls, and you think about it, and then you walk back there and you tighten your gas cap and you're fine. You know? So anybody learning stuff like that is a good idea. Edward Espinoza, facts. I'm sorry, but I'm not following that one. I don't know if that's going with another comment. Oh well. Thank you everyone for joining and watching me cook live. I need to get another camera. Oh, facts. Okay, I got you. I'm older than I sound. I'm not exactly computer literate. So, growing up in the 80s and, early 90s should put that to perspective. But thank you so much for watching. I'm going to eat my supper and go to bed. And I'm going to get up in probably about 5 hours and go to work. So, but hey, it's money. I got bills to pay. I gotta pay that card off. I didn't have credit cards for years and years, and I'd just gotten that one before the accident. And I need to pay it down, but I'm glad I had it. That, along with the fundraiser that Barbecue did for me, and I'm ever so grateful for that and everyone who donated. And the St. Christopher Foundation, which helps truck drivers. Between all that, I was able to keep it afloat. No, the motorcycle's not paid off, but all the repairs are done. I wish it was paid off, but I'm still making payments on that one. Basically, I got to take care of business. Finally back at the point where I can do that, and I appreciate everything that everybody did. And if you are a patron, and you gave me your address, you should have already received the stickers or will soon receive the stickers. If you donated to that fundraiser and sent me an address to send them to, the same thing. You should have already received them or will soon receive them. Because I know a few people have already received them and I sent them out. But anyways, Bjorn, Dustin, Eduardo, Ghost Shadow, and everybody else that's out there, thank you so much for watching. I'm going to eat my dinner and go to bed. And I appreciate it so much. So one day I'll come up with a good segue for this, but I'm just going to hit that little button twice and I'm going to end the broadcast. So thank you so much.